the importance of self-awareness and self-reflection in motivation. We often chase motivation like an external commodity, a surge of energy, a new routine, or a life-changing book. Yet, so many people find themselves running hard, only to realize they are running in the wrong direction, leading to burnout and deep dissatisfaction. The most potent, sustainable source of motivation is not found in a system or a hack. It is found within the quiet, focused practice of self-awareness and self-reflection. This journey is about removing the blind spots that hinder our progress. And in the next 30 minutes, we will explore why this inner work is the essential foundation for truly driven, successful living. Part 1. The blind spot problem. Imagine navigating a complex city without a map, without knowing your current location, and without understanding your vehicle's fuel level. That is how most people approach their goals. They are motivated by what society dictates, or what they think they should want, rather than what truly aligns with their deepest self. This lack of self-awareness is the blind spot problem. It leads to motivational cycles that are doomed to fail. Setting goals based on extrinsic desires, pursuing careers that drain our energy, and trying productivity techniques that clash with our natural rhythms. When motivation fails, it is often because we were never truly motivated by the goal itself. We were motivated by the idea of the goal. Self-awareness is simply the ability to see ourselves clearly, our strengths, our weaknesses, our true values, and our emotional triggers. It is the crucial first step that stops the cycle of temporary enthusiasm, followed by inevitable collapse. If you don't know why you do what you do, you cannot possibly change what you do. Reflection is the process, the mirror that allows us to gain that insight, transforming fleeting desire into deep, internal drive. Part 2. The two dimensions of self-awareness. Research shows that true self-awareness is not a single trait, but a combination of two distinct, critical dimensions. You must master both. The first is internal self-awareness. This is the understanding of your inner world, your values, passions, aspirations, emotional reactions, and the fit between your personality and your environment. When your internal awareness is high, you know what truly makes you happy and what type of work satisfies your soul. You are less likely to fall victim to goals that look good on paper but feel empty in practice. The second is external self-awareness. This is understanding how others view you, particularly regarding your traits, behavior, and impact. When your external awareness is high, you know if your communication style is effective, if your work ethic is perceived accurately, or if your emotional reactions are damaging your relationships. External awareness is vital because motivation rarely happens in a vacuum. Our success relies heavily on how we interact with and are perceived by the world. The trap many people fall into is mastering one while neglecting the other. The internally aware person knows what they want, but may fail to communicate it effectively. The externally aware person is a chameleon, excellent at pleasing others but utterly lost on their own. True, motivational self-awareness is the balance between knowing who you are and knowing how you show up. Reflection must therefore incorporate both internal inquiry and external feedback. Part 3. Self-reflection tools. The art of the pause. Self-awareness is not innate. It is cultivated through consistent, structured reflection. It requires establishing a ritual of the pause. The most powerful tool for reflection is journaling, but not just stream of consciousness writing. Structured journaling is key. Instead of writing what happened, write about why it happened. Ask yourself, what were my emotions during that critical task? Or what beliefs about myself drove that moment of procrastination? A particularly effective method is the 5-minute review. At the end of every workday, ask yourself these 3 questions. What drained my energy today? Identify the energy vampires. What gave me energy today? Identify your true flow state. What is the one thing I learned about myself today? Identify a core insight into your behavior or preference. Another potent tool is the why technique. When you identify a feeling or a barrier, ask yourself why, repeatedly until you get to the root cause. For example, I didn't start the project today. Why? Because I felt anxious. Why? Because I don't trust my ability to deliver quality work. Why? Because I compare myself to others. This uncovers the core limiting belief that is sabotaging your motivation. Reflection is the archaeology of your soul. Part 4. The deep link. Values and misaligned goals. Self-awareness is the central link between your identity and your motivation. When motivation falters, it is almost always a sign of a misalignment of goals and core values. We are constantly motivated to pursue what we value, but sometimes we are operating on borrowed values, the values of our parents, our culture, or our boss. If your core value is autonomy, but your goal is to pursue a stable, highly restrictive corporate job, your motivation will constantly rebel. You will feel lethargic, resistant, and drained. Your brain is signaling that the path you are on violates your internal constitution. Reflection allows you to conduct a values audit. List the things that truly bring you a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Is it contribution, connection, mastery, or freedom? Once you identify your top 3 values, every goal you set must be filtered through them. For example, if your top value is mastery, your motivation won't come from external deadlines. It will come from scheduling time for deep practice. If your top value is connection, your motivation will be strongest when your work involves collaboration. By aligning your goals with your self-aware values, you tap into intrinsic motivation, the internal, endless fuel source, making discipline less necessary because your actions feel natural and meaningful. Part 5. Emotional intelligence and motivation triggers. Motivation is deeply intertwined with emotional intelligence, which begins with awareness of our feelings. The self-aware person doesn't just feel emotions, they understand why they are feeling them. The reflection process must include examining procrastination triggers. We often procrastinate not because we are lazy, but because a task triggers an unpleasant emotion, anxiety, boredom, or the fear of failure. A self-aware approach is to identify the trigger and preemptively manage the emotion. For example, if you realize you always procrastinate on financial planning, triggering anxiety, the self-aware step is not to force yourself to do it, but to break it into a 5-minute task performed while listening to calming music. You are managing the emotional landscape, not just the task itself. Furthermore, reflection helps you catch and silence the pervasive cycle of negative self-talk. When you reflect, you notice the pattern. A minor mistake leads to the thought, "I always mess things up," which kills motivation. By observing this pattern, you gain the power to interrupt it, replacing the judgment with objective observation. That didn't work. Let's analyze the steps and try again. This neutral observer perspective is key to protecting your motivation from your own internal criticism. Part 6. Establishing the reflective habit and conclusion. The importance of self-awareness and self-reflection is not a theory, it is a discipline. It is the ongoing commitment to knowing yourself better today than you did yesterday. To solidify this in your life, you need two reflective habits: the daily check-in, the 5-minute review we discussed, designed to course-correct the next 24 hours. The weekly audit, a 30-minute deep dive on a weekend morning. Review the goals you set, ask if they still align with your core values, and look for patterns in your energy levels and emotional responses. This is where the major adjustments are made. Self-reflection is the ultimate investment in your motivation because it provides you with agency. It gives you the power to see the truth of who you are, what you truly desire, and what is holding you back. When you replace blind striving with focused self-knowledge, you unlock a motivational engine that is inexhaustible because it is fed by your authentic self. Stop asking, "How can I motivate myself?" Start asking, "What is my authentic self trying to tell me right now?" Commit to the journey of awareness. Commit to the habit of reflection. In doing so, you will not only achieve your goals, but you will ensure that the success you find is genuine, fulfilling, and driven by your deepest, truest sense of purpose. The power to change everything starts with the courage to see yourself clearly.